Hi, I'm Brian Lord, Senior Vice President here at Premier Speakers Bureau, and welcome to Premier Presents. I'm here with Vicki Hitzges. Vicki, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, I'm glad to be here.
All right, now, so Vicki, you're mentored by Zig Ziglar. You're one of the most popular speakers I booked for years and years and years and years. So definitely in the Premier Hall of Fame or Mount Rushmore, whatever you want to put it as. And so I have a question for you. Now, obviously you can speak about just any topic, but I thought today we'd do something a little different.
Okay.
We would do this for event planners. So this is your advice to event planners as event planners. So not you going out and speaking, but, so let's say you have an event planner. They're incredibly stressed. I think it was one of the event planners.
Oh, that
top
never
10
happens.
Hardest jobs, most stressful jobs. So what advice would you give? I would say normally what are your three points of advice you'd give? But Vicki Hits is all about one great point. So what advice would you give to help them de-stress or just help an event planner's life be easier in doing what they do?
Oh, gosh, Brian, I don't know that I can speak to that. If you put a gun to my head and said, be an event planner, I'd say, pull the trigger. I think you have a very, very tough job. I can make it easier for you to make your speaker look good, but I don't know how to make it. That job, that's why I'm not an event planner. I would not be good at that job.
Well, you're so good at people, like they feel much better after hearing you talk. What's one way that you can kind of put to an event planner and just say, okay, whether it's dealing with the stress of the job, dealing with the worry of the job, dealing with the attitude. By the way, she's the author of Attitude is Everything. So how would you help that in a really stressful environment? How should they deal with that, or how can they cope?
Okay, well, I'll give you stress tips, but I will tell you just right up front that I think you have a very difficult job, and I applaud you for doing it, and I'm glad it's you and not me. Well, there's several things. There's something I just started doing recently. I read this really schmaltzy idea, and I liked it, but that you should get an empty jar at the beginning of the year, and every time you have a blessing, something that you're grateful for, you should write it down and stuff it in the jar. And so I thought, we're recording this in January, by the way, I thought I would get everybody at this New Year's Eve party I was going to an empty jar and a fancy pen and a piece of and brightly colored papers, and they could stuff the jar full of blessings. Well, in real life, what I got were these real pretty vinyl books. And I didn't give them to the men. I just gave them to the women. And you would have thought, because I knew.
Yeah.
But but the women acted like I was giving them gold. And I took one home with great intentions. But I have yet to write anything in it. Mm-hmm. But in my head, I have every day, I still have the intention of writing in it, but in real life, probably I won't. And if I were talking to an audience about this, I would admit in real life I haven't. But every day, I have thought to myself, what am I grateful for? What good thing has happened today? And this has been the best year of my life. I mean, I realize we're still in January, but
but so far,
but it's really made a difference. So I would say, even when you're stressed out and everything's going just stop and think, okay, I am very grateful. I'm grateful my speaker showed up last night. I'm grateful that the hotel is working with me. I'm grateful that the air conditioning is on. I'm grateful. Now, that's a little carried away, but that is, well, it's not carried away, but that's not the kind of thing I'm talking about. I would talk about today, I would say, I am grateful for Brian. Brian has been a wonderful agent to me. And I would think one of the best things, and maybe the best thing that's happened to me today, is I get to spend some time with Brian. And maybe you'll get trumped.
I hope so. There's nowhere to go but up from here. So now this is a very cool book. I don't know if you can see it there, but it has the coolest cover, or the cutest cover, I should say.
It is a cute cover.
Of just about anything. Attitude is Everything. And 10 rules for staying positive. What's sort of your favorite rule out of here? If you were to pick one favorite one out of here.
Well, I see people on TV promoting their books, and they just instantly can talk about them. I can't, because I don't have a memory anymore. But let me see what it would be. It would be, I think it would be have an attitude of gratitude, kind of what we were just talking about. the difference in that, I'll just tell you one quick story, and then we'll close this. I had the privilege of being mentored by Zig Ziglar, and he was always happy. I mean, he was always, enough that I would think, oh, does your balloon ever land? But it was genuine with him. Even when his precious daughter died early, and she was in her 30s, I think, as I recall, she was in her 30s. And I remember going to the funeral, and Zig went around, and he shook everybody's hand, and he was grieving. But with a smile, he said, "We have no regrets. We have no regrets." And I asked Zig's best friend, Fred Smith, why do you think Zig is always happy? And he said, I think it's because Zig Ziglar is the most genuinely grateful man I know. And I know from the last 2 weeks, it works.
Yeah. Well, that's
It works.
Great. Well, thank you again for watching here and
Yes.
for tuning into this. And if you'd like to learn more information about Vicki, you can click on the link below the screen here with videos, bios, speech topics, book covers, that sort of thing. And then also make sure to subscribe to this channel. Oh, Vicki, thank you again so much for coming on. I'm going to give you a hug. I never give anybody a hug, but I'll give you one.
Oh, nice.
I appreciate you coming on here and always just
nice.
being so great to so many clients and to Premier for so many years.
Thank you. You too. Thank you for watching.